Bang! Neeves knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara is at work, and this is the Twosun Ts290, a relatively new design by Twosun. Now, I'm kind of pushing this review forward past one or two knives because Lavender Pants 86, congratulations to him. He won our Patreon giveaway for last month. So he has the choice between two knives, this being one of them. So I want him to see the review so he can make an educated decision. I did not sharpen it, but I have used it. We'll show that here in a second. But I did not sharpen it just in case if he wants to sell it or trade it or something, it can come with the factory edge. Now, if he wants me to sharpen it, I will, no problem. But so just in case if you guys don't know, every month we do a giveaway to the patrons. We're also doing exclusive videos for the patrons once a week, and also exclusive videos like if people request certain videos, for help on something, or they want a specific video in their a patron member, we make it and we upload it for them. And then we do skits and stuff like that. So if you ever want to become a patron and help support our channel, we would absolutely appreciate it. And and you can also be involved in monthly giveaways, and like Lavender Pants, he's won a couple of them already. So let's get into it. Anyways, so this knife's overall length is 8.5 inches, 3.5 inch blade length. Here's the concept prickle, which you can see is just a little bit shorter. And then here is the Benchmade 940. Obviously, I'm just pulling out some slimmer knives really quick. A little bit shorter. Here's the new Twosun 311, which, is just a bigger knife, I guess you could say. Even a little bit in length. The length really, gets a little bit longer because of this lanyard hole. It doesn't feel like an 8.5 inch knife. And then here is the Spyderco Manix 2. But if you take off the lanyard and you just go to there, you can see it's almost the same length. But this thing has 14C28N blade steel, beautiful stone washed and milled titanium. Carbon fiber is also really gorgeous. It has some really nice cross-cut sections on the sides and a little bit of milling lines as well. Beautiful, beautiful carbon fiber. It is kind of a bolster lock, frame lock, bolster lock. 14C28M by Twosun is, in my opinion, they do it pretty doggone good. So I haven't even needed to sharpen it. In all reality, a couple swipes on the strop, tuned it right back up. But I have been using it, and it cuts like a champ. Man, does this thing cut pretty good because it's only 10 thousandths behind the edge. Now, it does have a relatively thick blade stock. I'll write down the measurement on the screen. I'm not 100%, so I don't want to say the number I think it is and then have to write something else. But beautiful sharpening choil. They did leave you a lot of meat, so you have plenty of sharpenings on this thing. Kind of a clip point, straight back clip point deal going on. It does have some stone washing on the spine and on the flats. And then it's got the satin, which does fingerprint up with their Sandvik steels. But it does look gorgeous in certain lighting right now. You can see it kind of takes scratches a little bit. That's why I'm glad that they're going to start stone washing a lot of their knives, even especially in the Sandvik steels like this one, how that's the stone wash. But yeah, so the knife though, man, it just cuts really, really good. I have no problems cutting with it. It blazes through just about whatever you throw at it. It does have pretty good ergos. Now, there is one little problem we'll get to here in a little bit, but the jimping is very, very useful. It really locks you in. The thickness and the depth here is very comfortable. in the hand, so no issue with that. I do feel the clip a tiny bit, but it is a small clip, so it's really not an issue at all. It's actually relatively comfortable. Now the utility cuts are also really good because it has like a straight back thing going, so it's very straight in the hand. So with me, I kind of just lay it right there, let my middle finger wrap around, and then I use my pointer right over the top of this, and man, it really does utility cuts pretty good. Nice, strong, yet very acute tip. The utility cuts are really awesome. It works just fine. And so, yeah, all around cutting between slicing, utility cuts, it just works. Definitely great for EDC. It's going to also work good for reverse grips and, cutting backwards because of the straight back design. It allows you to lay your fingers right over the spine, because it has just a nice straight path right there. So same thing with the regular grip, you can just basically palm it. It feels really good in the hand and it works really good. The clip works perfect. I was kind of worried or wondering about it. It is a smaller clip, but in and out of the pocket, it doesn't chew the pocket up. It has a good amount of tension, but not so much to where it chews your pocket up in or out of the pocket. And it sits nice and slim in the pocket. So great clip, very happy with it. This screw has a pin that goes through to the other side. It is not a reversible pocket clip because there is a groove cut out, so it doesn't move. Centering is perfect. I did take this thing apart, so we'll take a look at the insides. So if you take off this, well, first of all, it's T8s between the pivot and the clip. Underneath the carbon fiber, there is another T8. So there is a T6 right here to take off the plate, but that's just for this, this carbon fiber plate. Once you take that off, it's T8 underneath. There are some grooves cut into the plate so that it locks in, like basically like pin construction. So, it sits on there nice and snug. And then, the Twosun has all the bells and whistles. It has the ceramic caged bearings that also has a little washer that has a groove cut out in it for the bearings to spin on. It has a detent ramp cut in, and it has a beautiful detent track already cut in, or already placed on the blade. Whether the detent did that or they did it from the factory, regardless, it's there. So it's only going to get smoother and smoother over time, and it's already very smooth. But yeah, all the bells and whistles. I love their machining. They have great machining, and they did a pretty good job on it. They always impress me with their machine work. It does have a regular stop pin, which is a decent size. No complaints. Actually, it's a perfect size for the blade. Let's get to the action. The action, it's kind of a light switch action. You can push button it, but it's kind of just positioned for the light switch where you just put your finger on top of there and yank down. Detent is nice and strong, nice and snappy. The drop on it is very smooth. You can just do, if you give it any, give it any push, when you're dropping it, if you flick it in any way, it just drops right shut. But if you let it just kind of flow down, it's pretty drop shutty, not fall shut action, but very, very smooth still. You can easily shut it with just one little flick of the wrist, or you can let it slowly drop. The detent is nice and crisp. It is a heavy detent. Nice. This little groove right there is not functional unless if you're going to pinch and pull it out. You have to use the flipper tab, which it does rock it out pretty good. The access to the lock bar is very nice. They give you plenty of access, a nice comfortable access too. And then the detent ball is right there, which if you hold up high, it will hit the detent ball. But if you just hold it right in the middle of the lock bar, it's past the detent. So no problems there. Now, if you did hit the detent ball, you can easily push right past it because there is the detent ramp, or swing past it. The beauty of a detent ramp. So, all in all, great knife. What are some bad? Let's talk about some bads. One, I don't know why they did this lanyard back here. I think this was the dumbest thing they could have put on this knife. It's pokey. It pokes you in the hand. When I'm using the action, I've been tending to go like this and I hold right there, going from the side like that. Still very comfortable to flip, but I just don't like to do it like this. I mean, I still do it like that, you know, where it's poking me in the hand, but I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just get rid of the lanyard. You know, it's a long knife. It really doesn't need a lanyard on it. I know lots of people like lanyards, but, you know, they could have just did a hidden construction where it's like a hidden one back here somewhere. They didn't need to leave it all pokey like this, where it comes out like that on a triangle. Next thing, there's actually a couple more things. One, in the closed position, I can touch the tip. Now, it's not that big of a deal. I do have to try to do it, but if I rub my finger to the side right there, I can catch the tip a little bit. Next thing, in the back here, I can touch the blade pretty easily. Now, I would have to, if I was going to cut myself, I'd have to push my finger in there and slide it up. And I don't see myself coming off of it and cutting myself like this if you misfire. I don't really see that happening, but it's still there. I can touch the blade all the way down pretty much. It's very thin too, so since it's so thin behind the edge. Now, this is a short blade. Now, this isn't really a bad thing, but I forgot to mention it. It is a short blade and it is a thick stock. So even though it's very thin behind the edge, up to about right, all the sharpenings are going to be very, very thin. So it's not going to get much thicker through those sharpenings, but it does get thick rather quickly. But it's really not that big of a deal and it cuts very well. And like I said, you're going to have all the life of sharpening on it before it ever gets thicker. Next thing, the fingerprints. Fingerprints are horrible. They should just do the stonewashing. They should stop using satin finishes for their Sandvik steels. I do not like that. Next thing, I did notice, you'll see right here, it looks like it's burnt. Now, I'm not saying it's burnt. I'm just saying you can see the burn mark, like where they were grinding it or something, and, you know, it's a little brown right there and right here. It doesn't seem to be showing it like an edge retention or anything like that. Like I haven't noticed like it being a burnt edge or anything like that, but I can see it. Now the thing is though, is that Sandvik steels 14C28N, I don't think it's easy for them to like burn to, I don't know, but you know, it is very, it does great in different HRCs. So it's not like some steels that only do good in high HRCs. They do good in low HRCs. But so I'm not worried about it affecting the steel so much. It's just, you know, you can still burn the steels, and for whatever reason, there's a mark right there that kind of tells me that they, you know, something happened with the steel. Really, that's all the bad. They, you know, it's a good knife. It's not my favorite Twosun, but it is still a great knife, especially for a straight back design. It really feels like a straight back design, and you know, it's comfortable in the hand. It's just this lanyard hole is kind of pokey, and that's really the biggest thing that bothers me. Is just that dang lanyard hole. I don't even really care so much about this blade being back here, being able to touch it, but it is there though. It is a thing. So I have to note it. But all in all, still a good knife. I do wish they just keep stonewashing, which it looks like they're doing, you know, on the Twosuns with their Sandvik steels. But this lanyard hole is just so out of place. You know, they could have cut it off and just put some jimping back here. Then it would be grippy in the hand for when you flick it. It'd be nice and grippy right here on the palm. And it'd be very comfortable right there. It just doesn't make sense why you'd put a corner right there. Even in the reverse grip, you know, like for this motion, it's pokey. Like, don't do that. So, I don't know. Whatever. Either way, still a good knife. Great quality knife, all in all. And yeah, it's going to be a good cutter, good slicer, good for utility cuts. Lots of life in sharpening. And, you know, it's going to be a good quality knife. Now, Whether or not he picks this or the other one, that's completely up to him. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. I love you guys. Peace.